welcome to No Tactics. I'm Oscar.
And I'm Tom.
And in this video, we're going to talk about our top 10 worst ever January transfers.
Average players are going for 35 million. My goodness. It's mind-boggling, it really is.
Coming in at number 10, we have Alexis Sanchez. I feel like he was an angel for you, but he was a devil for us. Obviously, the Red Devils, you kind of hoped to come in as a devil, but not the devil that he became. And that devil came in at 500 grand a week.
What did he say?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Not about money. It's about sending a message.
And absolutely disappointed everyone that was wearing the United red.
And he was so good for Arsenal. Like, genuinely, he was arguably one of the best players in the Emirates era. But he just completely flipped the switch and looked so bad. And I read actually that after his first training session, he immediately wanted to rip up his contract and see if he could get a move back to Arsenal.
I want to go home.
I think that just epitomised it all.
Yeah, and if you look at his transfer video of when he first signed for United, obviously I think his key playing ability is better than his ball playing ability.
Hair whack. It's gear whack.
And that's enough said.
Number 9, we have Juan Cuadrado. Now, this guy for Fiorentina looked really talented, and it was only time until you actually got a move to the Prem. He signed for Chelsea.
Excuse me? Chelsea are shit.
And this move just did not work out. I think he was there for less than a year. But the thing that made it such a flop was because Chelsea sent Mo Salah the other way.
The worst trade deal ever made.
They sent him off to Italy.
Where's the Italian?
Thinking this guy's a dud anyway. We got Juan Cuadrado. And the rest is history.
I know, he come into the club with many goals and assists for Fiorentina, and every other club he's played for, he's had numerous goals and assists. With Chelsea, he didn't get either. It's ridiculous.
Flop.
Number 8, we have Wilfried Bony. And if you think about Barclaysman, you would typically think about Wilfried Bony. Him and Michu up top for Swansea. I think the season before he actually got signed by City, he'd scored 25 goals for Swansea City, which is ridiculous. And he comes to City under Manuel Pellegrini in the January transfer window. And I feel like everyone was expecting Wilfried Bony to get up to the same heights that he did at Swansea. Obviously, why would he not with Man City? Man City are one of the best teams in the world at that point.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
But it didn't really go that way, unfortunately. 6 months later, old Baldy Pep came in through the door and just absolutely ruined Wilfried Bony's career.
I'm rapidly falling out of love with football.
I feel kind of sorry for Wilfried
I
Bony.
feel bad, especially the fact that City didn't even need Bony at the time. They already had Aguero, Edin Dzeko.
I have the lot. A wise choice, monsieur.
Like, he was always going to be surplus to requirements from the get-go, and yes, he was really lucky when Pellegrini got sacked, but let's be honest, I think Bony was always going to be a failure.
Oh, bless you, Bony. Bless you.
Number 7, we have Kallstrom. Who? Yeah, I had no idea who this guy was when we signed him, and I need to take you back in time, Tom. 2014, we were going for the league. We just needed a striker. He would be the missing piece of the jigsaw. Who do we sign? A Swedish midfielder with a broken back.
My back.
I remember being absolutely fuming when I saw the news that he failed his medical, he had a broken back, but we still signed him. And you know what? I think actually we may as well just sign a striker with a broken back. He would have had more of an impact.
But I'm not a rapper.
But he did score a goal for you.
He did score a goal, and it was a decisive goal in a semi-final of an FA Cup.
Nice, very nice. Thanks.
But it will still go down as one of the most bizarre transfers in Arsenal history.
And coming in at number 6, we have Costas Mitropoulos. Do you remember Costas Mitropoulos, the Greek striker that came from Olympiacos? He was actually Fulham's record signing at the time, 14.2 million.
Just a $1 scratchy, thank you. $50.
You'd expect him to come in and absolutely destroy the league. But he actually came in under René Meulensteen for Fulham, and his time at Fulham was a little bit broken and he ended up getting sacked. Quite close to Wilfried Bony, as we said earlier, in that sense where a few months after signing from one manager, you go on to another manager, which this time was Felix Magath, and he didn't care about Mitropoulos at all.
Number 5, we have our good friend Mykhailo Mudryk.
What is it?
Mykhailo, I'm sorry that you keep featuring in all our videos.
We don't hate you, Mykhailo.
No, it's not your fault, but you will go down as one of the all-time Premier League transfer flops in January. I mean, this guy's just, week after week, I'm just reading something bad has happened to him. He's recently failed a drugs test now. Chelsea signed him for about 80 million, and of course Arsenal very close to signing him as well, but we dodged a bullet there.
You were gutted though, you really wanted him.
I watched those highlights, in the Ukrainian league on the toilet.
Oh my god, he was so good on those highlights, and then he comes to the league and you realise he is just the Anthony of the Ukrainian world.
Yeah, he looks so good, but actually you realise he's just more of a dubstep compilation footballer. And he was a bit of a pace merchant, but yeah, it's a real shame for Mykhailo, and I do actually hope he turns it around, but yeah, he's failed a drugs test. He's not going to be playing football for some time.
You failed your drug test. There were traces of cocaine and methamphetamines found in your urine.
What?
Unlucky Mykhailo.
Coming in at number 4, we have a player that I actually really hoped a lot for. It's actually Wout Weghorst. I think you're expecting a lot for him at the time because he was at Besiktas and he was scoring many goals in the Turkish league. Does that ever translate over to the Premier League? Very rarely. And he was on loan actually from Burnley to Besiktas.
Oh yeah.
And the idea of him coming into the Man United team and being a 20-goal a season striker, I think we were just hoping for the world.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Because we had Martial that was injured. We had Rashford who... Is he a number 9? I still don't know. But now you look at Wout Weghorst and you think, his time at United, as much as he did try hard,
Can't do it.
You can! You can do it!
He didn't score enough, and I feel like he went down as a bad January transfer, but I still like him as a player.
Number 3, we have arguably the most famous worst January transfer, or should I say infamous, because we're talking about Fernando Torres.
El Nino.
50 million smackers, he moved to Chelsea, he broke Liverpool fans' hearts.
Oh.
And I remember at the time, oh my god, I think it was one of the highest transfers in the world at that point.
50 mil, was it?
Yeah, back in 2011, that was a lot of money.
This is a big number.
However, yeah, this is such a shame for Fernando because he was genuinely one of the best strikers in the league in the last few years, but you could just kind of sense he was tailing off a little bit, and I got a theory that it's because he dyed his hair. Do you remember he had the lovely blonde locks? Yeah, the beach blonde, but then as soon as he dyed his hair, I don't know about you, but something changed, and when he dyed his hair and moved to Chelsea, I just knew it was not going to work out.
I feel like it's a weird one because everyone sees Fernando Torres, and obviously he's in our worst January transfer, so everyone sees Fernando Torres' time at Chelsea as a complete flop. However, I feel like he scored in the semi-final. He absolutely sat down Valdez and put it through to get him through past Barcelona, and it was a 3-2 aggregate. Everyone was going crazy, and I think that could possibly be worth the money, but at that time...
Yeah, Chelsea fans will argue that maybe, yes, he was probably worth the money, and he also won them the Europa League, let's not forget
Absolutely.
that.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
So I think we as Premier League fans will say he's a flop, but Chelsea fans, let us know, was he actually a flop or not?
Number 2, we have Mr. Andy Carroll.
Oh, Andy.
I feel like when he went to Liverpool, he was coming in under the shadow of Fernando Torres going to Chelsea, which was a huge thing at the time, as we've just
crazy
said.
transfer window that year, wasn't it?
I know, and you think about, everyone was thinking that Andy Carroll was going to be the big signing for Liverpool. Obviously, everyone didn't know about a particular Uruguayan striker called Luis Suarez, but obviously that's for a different video. Andy Carroll came in with around 31 goals in 80 appearances for Newcastle. So it was about a goal every 2 games.
Yeah,
so
solid player.
So really good for Newcastle. Didn't really get the look in at Liverpool. I think he was shrouded slightly by the Suarez move. And in 44 appearances, he only scored 6 goals. And from there went over to West Ham. Didn't have a bad stint at West Ham.
Scored one of the best goals I've ever seen.
Oh,
that Bicey.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, fair enough.
West Ham looking to make it save. Oh, what a goal!
I feel like that's close to the Peter Crouch Bicey and the Zlatan Ibrahimovic Bicey. I think Andy Carroll's is very, very much forgotten about. But his move to Liverpool should also be forgotten about because that was terrible.
And number 1, the worst ever January transfer window signing. We have JeanKevin Augustin. Yeah.
What signing?
Now, a lot of you might be thinking, who the hell is this guy? Even I was looking back, who the hell is this guy? But then when I read that this guy cost 2.61 million a minute.
Here to report a crime. Yeah. An international war crime, right?
To play for Leeds, I realised this guy must have been a flop. Now, I want to paint a picture here.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Leeds at the time, I think, were trying to get promotion. They forked out 18.4 million for this player.
I'm not paying 13 quid.
So arguably, he could go down as one of the worst value signings in Premier League history. He actually had a clause in his contract which Leeds, I think, tried to get rid of, and Leipzig then took them to court over it.
Why? Doesn't anyone love me? Isn't there anyone who cares about
JeanKevin Augustin?
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
And Leeds ultimately had to pay the full fee. So, JeanKevin, I don't know where you are right now. You probably owe a lot of people a lot of money.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
But let us know if you're okay. We can lend you £1 or so. And that has been our top 10 worst ever January transfer signings. Let us know in the comments below if there's anyone we missed, anyone you disagree with. I've been Oscar.
And I've been Tom.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.